Greetings, my fellow Shek. Rockvin here. Thank you for tuning in to Kenshi Shek's Conquest, Episode 24, Arms Then Armor. Where's King? Here he comes. And I think the Paladin stopped chasing us, because if he was still chasing us, we would feel it. So I need 50 wheat? Oh, I only have 40. Alright, I'll downgrade. Not quite enough. Whoa, we're under attack. Bye. Starving idiots. Whoa! Retinas. Jesus. So with heavy building foundations going, I don't really immediately get like a heavy building out of it. It's just the prerequisite to be able to build the larger ones. And there's all the lights coming on. I got 99 power. You can't see it underneath the thing. Oh god, oh god, oh god. Hang on, I'm coming. Oh, eardrums. I got you. Alright, so the wheat farm is now upgraded. James, thanks for the follow. So you guys want me to make weapons and armor. So make weapons and armor for equipment. And then the stuff that I'm not going to use, I'll sell. So taking a look here, we've got some refitted blade quality katanas that I don't think I need to keep anymore. Pretty much everybody has refitted or better at this point. Which is really good. I'm actually very excited about that because that means everything is just profit at this point when we're grinding out the skill. So I can make some money. Let's also start to bring cacti up here. And the issue is with the wheat straw, we're going to need to grind that up. So if you go to farming here, or food, we need a grain silo to process the wheat straw into flour. And where am I? So let's put that here, I guess, somewhere in the light. And King will build that once it's time. So we'll have one cook making wheat straw and the other one cooking dust witches, I think, out of the ingredients that we have available to us. Oh, so many cacti. But yeah, soon we'll be able to actually feed ourselves, which is important when you want an army. So the meat, the meals here, you can make dried meat, chew sticks, cooked vegetables, dust witches. So dust witches, bread and cactus. Probably the best thing I can currently make. Definitely the best thing I can currently make. So we're gonna be making dust witches, which does require bread, which means we do need to do a bread oven as well. Because yeah, I don't have one of these yet. So I'll clog up the entrance to my base with a bread oven. So you grind up the wheat into flour, and then you grind bake the flour into bread, and yeah, I think you can probably assume the rest. So it's a multi-stage process, but it will yield us good food. And let me hide that poll for you now. A plurality of you voted. All right. So I'm going to wait until I have an XL wheat field farm. I'm not going to invest in it yet. And then another thing I'm going to do is the other farm here. I'm going to do 2 hemp large because we're going to need fabric for all of the armor stuff that we have going on. So I will put another hemp farm here, which King will start to work on. We almost have all the hemp for that. And then all the hemp after the second farm is made will just go to fabrics. And we have the research for, I guess I already built it. So we have the automatic loom researched somewhere. Here's the hemp auto loom, which we'll put back up in the snail house. Can bread and meat make sandwiches? They can. You can use bread as an ingredient, as a meat wrap, bread and raw meat, but not dried meat. Once you dry the meat, you can't. So dust witches are 70 nutrition for bread and cactus, and meat wraps are 50 nutrition. So if I had a lot of raw meat and a lot of bread, obviously meat wraps are far better than the individual ingredients separate. But I don't have raw meat. I dried it all. And I have no regrets doing that, because we were very, very hungry. Hello, bandit leader. Sorry, you're naked now. And then another way to feed ourselves in the interim is to sell Trapper Keepers less than cat weapons. So we're going to just be keeping the cat ones, and everything shy of cat 1 we can sell to whoever can afford to buy it. And now I have about 5k, which is okay. Probably the best use of that 5k would go into the Hive Village and buy some fish. So the big question is, oh yeah, so we're starting to get a nice large supply of raw iron. So before I go do a supply run, I think what I want to do is to get the auto loom going, so that our armor smith can starts to have fabrics in order to work with, because we have a lot of leather now, but we're going to want the fabrics as well. The thing is, the next 8 hemp goes towards the second farm, and then all the hemp thereafter can go to the fabrics. Oh wow, that is a lot of copper. King is barely moving now. He's like, guy, I can't carry this much. Making and selling weapons seems very Shek. Oh yeah, definitely. Oh, perfect. Almost 100. So any overflow and I'll just sell it. Is King getting some strength training from this hauling? Yes, technically, but like such a small fraction, it's not worth mentioning. Alright, so now he's going to go into the Hive Village. And actually, let me get the... Yeah, no, let's go to the Hive Village. Get some fish for us. Well, everybody else is doing something productive. Iron Plates 4 just got researched. I think the bottleneck for me right now is actual physical iron, not the plates. Oh, and here's a gorilla. They're slow, but they'll absolutely rip you apart. I'll zoom in so you can see how frightening gorillas look. Don't mess with gorillas until you're ready. This scary. Zardas, thanks for the resub. You're a bit late? Just a little bit. Just 4 hours and 20 minutes late. Don't worry, I've been stood up worse. I won't take it personal. They look cute? Oh, God. Yeah, sure, they're cute. As they nom 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 your gibbets. Your gibbets. Alright, so we're over here. I'm going to buy their hemp so that I can get fabricking sooner. That's not a word, but I made it up, so it is a word now. Take a look at their blueprints, because sometimes they change over. Sometimes they have polearm blueprints and stuff like that. I could just straight up buy the fabrics, which isn't terrible given the money that I have, but I do want their dried fish first and foremost. I came here for food. Hi, Tusk. And then I'll do grand fish as well. Oh, I'm out of money. Never mind. Yeah, I know. Daddy's poor. You don't have to bark at him. That's just rude. It's just rude, dude. It's just rude. Hi, Tusk. did they kill the gorilla anywhere? No, I think the gorilla wanted it on. More treats. Here. Stop barking, your mouth. Oh, that's a big carrot. You can't eat that. Your sister will. Here's your carrot. This series is more about food management. Well, the hivers barely eat at all. Food management won't really be an issue once I have a full base with many farms. It will be a non-issue. But yeah, the Shek obviously eat a lot early on. They are voracious. But living near the hivers helps a lot because I can just purchase from them my shortcomings. Let's go ahead and haul the iron that these guys have been getting up top so that we can start doing the plate beating once we run out of leather to process. And Yoda's gone. Stolen out from under us. Not really. He's okay. He hasn't been outside in 4.5 hours, so... you know. Have some mercy on him. Okay, so Trapper Keeper now has 2 blades of proper quality. Chemo, how is your armor... your leather making going? What is your armor smithing at? So his armor smith is still at prototype. So as long as Chemo... what is ideal is if Chemo levels up his armor smithing by just trying to process plates and leathers instead of making terrible quality armor with raw resources, that would be ideal. Which is why I'm just having him grind, you know, all the skill and not actually spend any time making armor yet. It's too early. His quality is so gross. Kang's like, I'm missing a brawl, dude. Let me go, let me go, let me go. Sorry, Kang. You're a builder. So here's the bread oven. And then we're also going to want a bread basket, which is annoyingly a separate storage than the food storage. Why, I could not tell you what it is. So you can't put bread in food storage because it's not allowed. I don't know. Don't ask me. I was not the coder. But it has its own storage. So let's get one more building material and get that built. The story of separate storages. Yeah, that would be the Kenshi story. The story of separate storages. The story of, It's not so needlessly complex like some games are that it's, like, frustrating, which is cool. Because some games get so into the woods of the amount of complication that they've decided to include into their game that it's just not fun anymore, and I would definitively say Kenshi is not that. It's not, like, so cumbersome that it's, like, terrible again, you know what I mean? But, yeah. So the auto loomer, let's get that made. That would be crafting Hemp Loom. And it's not a 0-person task. You still need to haul hemp gear and then put it into storage. So what we're going to want is a fabric chest. I'm going to put the fabric chest by the stairs, I guess. It doesn't really matter where it goes. Just somewhere out of the way. So I'll have a fabric chest I need to make. And then I'm also going to want hemp storage. I'm blind again. Here it is. Hemp storage. I'll put that, I don't know, here. Again, really don't care. This is not a permanent base. And then the last thing we need is the crafters for it, the auto looms. And I'll do 2 auto looms. And we'll nest them in here if it's possible. Because you don't work at them, you just haul ingredients to it. And then Trapper Keeper's gonna hate that there. Never mind. Let me just put it in the middle of the room. It gives me incentive to move the heck out of here as soon as I can. So these need iron plates, which King says he doesn't have, but he's lying. Oh, he wants to start it with building materials. Fine, King, fine. Jesus. Very, very, very good investments for long-term health of the Shek Conquest here. All right, 9 building materials should be enough. And that autoloomer, because we have low population, if you have a very large population and you have a lot of labor, don't bother with an autoloom early on. It's not necessary. But because there's a finite number of Shek in my group, I'm going to need to invest in things like autolooms to be able to make clothing fast enough. Where the heck did you go? Oh, those don't even require building components. I hate you, King. Just put the loudest machinery near the beds. Yeah, I have the whole upstairs, but, you know, I don't need it yet. I find it far easier to work out of just the bottom floor, so you're not constantly toggling between floors, which I find annoying to have to do constantly. So I, at all possible, try to live all on one floor. Whether it be personal preference or not. Why aren't you building this? There it goes. And it requires 16 plates. No, he keeps putting them away in the thing. I don't know why he's not doing his engineering job. He's like bugging out a little bit. So here's another weapon I can sell. Just drop it on the floor. What do you mean, building materials? What are you talking about? It doesn't take building... Okay, so... AI. Don't ditch items. There we go. He's just a little... King's not the smartest. How much does these katanas sell for? So the cat ones sell for almost 2k. And then the ones I've been selling are 1.6k. They're barely selling more than just the raw resources of the, that I could net from the iron plates. But I'm training Trapper Keeper at the same time. So Trapper Keeper's weaponsmithing is now 58, which would allow her to make Mark II level weapons, which is actually far beyond the capacity of this weaponsmith. But once I'm able to, source a lot of fabric, I can get Trapper Keeper to actually start making some legitimately good weapons. Or better than, you know, my current level of garbage. Yeah, station houses would be great for me. Indeed. This, obviously I let everyone vote on the type of building that I have, but this is a station house here. Large ground floor. But I just didn't buy that one. I left it up to chat. Alright, so here's the autoloomers. And you stick hemp in, now plops fabric. And this uses the forbidden technology that the Holy Fuzzy Wuzzies forbid. Love that heavy metal music, man. But we're really starting to reliably get these Cat 1 blades, which is great. We have 4 of them now spare that Kane can aim to hand out. Just buy every house? We don't need that kind of real estate. It would just be an expensive investment for very little benefit. Cool. Chemo, how's it going? 33 leather. You still have 44 left to get through, so that's a lot more armor training. And his armor smith is now 31, still making prototype, but it's getting better and better as time goes on. Holy moly, no matter how low I make this volume, it just gets louder over time. I think that's actually part of the bug. So King's going to take these blades and the one I dropped on the floor and hand them out to people that need Cat 1 blades. So Trapper Keeper does not, because Trapper Keeper will make his own, her own. Chemo, what about you? You need one. Perfect. Bang. You don't even use these kind of weapons, so don't need to trade with you. Rockvin. You do. Rockvin doesn't even have the best possible quality that I can afford to offer. I've not been trying... as you may have noticed, I've not been preferentially treating Rockvin any differently than the rest of them. In fact, if anything, he's been the Sherpa to carry people's equipment. Fully wants sabers, so... And also that saber is better than these blades that I have. Wodick doesn't need a weapon. McNauer, you are the last recipient. So now I have 5 katanas to sell. Perfect. Keeping our economy rolling. What's the damage increase? So it's 0.81 up from 0.73. Pretty reasonable. Now, if we started making Mark 2 weapons and Mark 3 weapons, that would be a very sizable increase, but we don't have the fabric for it yet. We're getting there. This is a oh, they don't have any money. This is a slow build-up, but it will crescendo, I promise. Once we're able to source our own weapons. Ooh, they have the plank blueprint. That is very Shek of them. They also have a polearm for sale. That if I'm able to afford it, I will buy it for Tora. Tora wants polearms. $8K? Yeah, I should be able to buy it. Well, maybe, yeah, I can still buy the plank blueprint. Let's put the bread away in the bread basket, and then the people up here still have food in the bins, so I'm going to bring the remaining food here. The really expensive stuff. Obviously, this is less efficient than just buying the fish from Hivers, which is a pretty good bang for your buck. But, there. Dropped it all off, and everybody eats. Alright, we are getting enough wheat straw here that I'll be able to upgrade this farm once Rain finishes farming it, and her farming skill... 35. So Rain, the giant farmer. It's like, what's his name that is the giant green dude on the broccoli bags? That's Rain now. Whether she likes it or not. Why are you guys coming down here? Why are you eating out of this bin? You have a bin up top. You guys are nuts. Totally, totally nuts. The Jolly Green Giant? That was his name? Well, that's where we're at now. Alright, so there we go. We are upgrading this to an XL. And Rain is harvesting the hemp farm. And then the cactus farm, I think, just had another yield. Yes, 70. So we're really soon going to be able to buy... We'll be in the money. We'll be able to really feed ourselves. So, Cowley... Let's have you operate the grain silo. So for the grain silo, I'm also going to need to store the byproduct of the grain, flour, somewhere around here. Oh, flour's only in buildings? Oh, that's going to be a little tricky. I'm going to have to haul it. But it's a lot of wheat straw for straw flour, the ratio. So it's, you know, it's going to be a lot of work before this grain silo fills up. And actually, I probably am going to pause Cowley from doing this just for a minute, just to make sure that this wheat farm XL gets built. Because if I don't leave myself enough wheat, that's a bad time. All right, so the XL farm is now done. Cowley can go back to making flour. And then Kang is done making the second hemp farm. So we have 2 hemp farms now. So all the excess hemp here can then be processed in our auto looms. And then I'll buy the plank. We're not going to need it for a long time, but if anyone wants heavy weapons, that's a good BP to have. If it will show me the bottom floor. Show me the bottom floor. Alright, plank done. I have so much copper at this point that I think I'm just going to bulk sell copper to anyone that can afford to buy it. Because I am not processing it in electrical components. If I really wanted to min-max my industry, I would obviously add another processor and probably add more power to the power grid. That's another thing that I need to look at, is to make sure that the hub has enough power to power up all the auto looms that I have going and everything else. Because it's definitely possible to sort of grind to a halt because you've demanded too much from the strained power grid. No, we're fine. 100 out of 58. Buy the green fruit for research? Sure. Where is Rockfin? Oh, am I out of... Oh, I'm out of things to research. So he's just been standing around. Let me just queue some random stuff up with random books. And... And here, we can see the yields of the fabric. Now this is going to be very, very, very annoying to micromanage until we have a actual base, because we're going to need to run there and back and there and back and there and back. It's going to just be like that until we have a real base. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to source arms and armor so that we can defend our base and start to pick fights that are a little bit stronger for us than current ones. And then once we have a little bit better equipment and a little bit better armor and more fighting skill, we'll be able to start a base and defend it well enough to have all of this sort of inefficiency of running back and forth, cooking from miles away and things like that. All of that stuff sort of work itself out and become more efficient over time with base improvements and a centralized location and all that goodness. So that is that's the end goal. Super Butters. I like the name. Thanks for the follow. And we're starting, as you can see, to get some legitimate, some legitimately good money in. Does anyone on this roster here that doesn't currently have an occupation, McNauer, Poetic, Tora, etc., does any of you also want to be armor smiths? Because I could have someone start to run the plate beater, but I don't want to start to level anyone up that doesn't want it. And I'm going to go a little bit over time, just barely. I know I'm got 15 minutes left. All right, Turda, you want to be a plate beater? You got it, man. And then on top of that, Turda, I will buy you a polearm. Now, I'm going to let you level up your dex first, because that polearm is really not a good ratio for us to buy. But I'll have you in the back of my mind of he wants a polearm. Totally acknowledged. Alright, so Turda, I think you were the last... Okay, you are indeed the last of the copper miners, so I might need to move some people around. But in either case, let's go ahead and have you plate beat. And then we're going to need to store the armor plates. Yeah, things are getting a little busy, I know. So that's going to be one more building material the King's going to need to grab, so I'll have him grab it in just a sec. But the green fruit is for green fruit farming research. Come on, King. Just get close enough. And then the food is for the people up here. The flour is for... I could just stick it straight into the bread oven, and that will be able to make bread. And then I'll have Cowley and Fully. Let's start that, actually. So as you can see, a lot of the iron processors are here kind of ground to a halt because the iron plates filled up. So I'll have K make some room. And I can start selling them if it's becoming cumbersome. If Trapper Keeper isn't processing through it fast enough, I could just sell it for just straight profit. It's not that big of a deal. It's a renewable resource. So, Turda, let me write down that you are going to be an armor smith. Our second armor smith. Updated, perfect. Oh, and we're in a fight. Because you decided that this hungry bandit needed to die, and you cut him to death. Yeah, the reason I'm going to be waiting on getting you a polearm is if I gave you a polearm right now, it would really hurt your skill growth for dexterity, which is not good for you in long run. So I want you to gain the most amount of experience that you can for dexterity before you switch over. At least so that you're not penalized, crippled in some way. It's the same reason why I stripped Ruka of her big blade. Because her dex really fell behind. Alright, Mr. King, it's time to go out to the High Village and buy bulk food. Herd is still working on the same katana. Chemo, you are now up to 35, and Turda's up to 1. A whopping 1. I'm going to have Rockvin make the storage for the armor plates, so we have somewhere to put it. Yeah, better to get dex up. Attack speed and dodge is pretty important stuff. So the armor plates are part of the ingredients for white plate jackets, as well as fabrics. And then for all the leather stuff, it's leather and fabrics, and then for all the metal stuff, it's fabrics and metal. So fabrics is obviously a big bottleneck, which is why I have 2 hemp farms of large size, and then they will be feeding in the heavy armor bench and the leather bench so that we can start to get proper clothing for people, which is going to help in combat. Another thing that I could do while I'm down here is if there's any beak things nearby, I could bait them into the village to try to get some extra... Oh yeah, here we go. I purposely ran King into the Grillo so that the Grillo would tag as aggroed. It hurt King's leg a little bit, but it hurt the Grillo's everything a lot more. Yep. Opportunistic, free leather. Come back to the shop, Shek. Don't tell me what to do. Customer's always right. So I'm here for dried fish. And that is all the money I have. So I guess no books. They do have plate drifter. Yeah, they have polearm. So if I come back sometime soon before they swap over for their offerings, there are polearm. But I think what's probably even cooler than just straight heavy polearms and regular polearms is the polearm Naginatas, and there's other styles of polearms. There's like 4 or 5 of them. So some of the other ones are a little bit cooler. And then there's sort of hybrid katana polearms like toppers, which look kind of polearm-ish, but they're not. Oh man, they ate everything already. Jesus, guys. So hungry. King probably does the least work. He's just on screen more often. I really work King to the bone. He's just running around. I'm just using him because he's he can carry a decent amount of weight, and that way when I'm running errands with him, he doesn't get encumbered. Because being encumbered kind of sucks. When you're, you know, trying to move things in dangerous territory. But at this point, I think, like I said, I'm just going to wholesale the iron plates. I want the money more. And now this barman has 60 cats, and I have 4K. Where did Trapper Keeper go? I keep running down there to eat the food down there, ignoring the fact that I have food storage here. Which is very strange. Yoink. Thanks for the blade. Unleash the chefs. Alright, let's grab Fooly. So, Cowley, when he is not working the grain silo... Actually, I'll just have Cowley do it for now, because there's not a lot of work to do. So, work the cooking stove, the bread oven, and the grain silo. So the cooking stove requires cactuses and not water. So I can fix that very, very easy with Rockfin. Stick the water in the water tank. And then this bread oven is what Cowley should be running to now. Now making my own food is going to be really inefficient until I have like an actual base. But yeah, here we go. We're making our first dust switch. And then hauling to the food store should be the top chore. Oh, here we go. Dust switch. Did he... Okay, here it is. I don't know why he hasn't hauled it to the food store. But yep, that's our first dust switch. 70 nutrition. So the dried meat is 15 nutrition, so as you can see, it's sizably more. And now Cowley's working the bread oven, and then that bread will become another dust switch. And the means to feed myself has begun. Thank goodness. Finally, real food. Well, I've been buying real food, but yeah, being able to make it's kind of nice. I might have been a little bit overexcited to build 2 hemp auto looms. Not that they were that expensive, but I don't think I have the fabrics to run 2. Maybe got a little ahead of myself there. Just a little bit. Alright, let's go back to the rubber base. Oh, I don't need the green fruit. It's not a requirement. Grog, rum. Let's research rum. It might be inefficient, but it's better than running out of the towns for food. Yeah, the Hiver town's pretty close by, and they have a lot of fish, though. That's not too bad. That's, like, acceptably annoying. Ooh, Wakasashis? Ah, man, I don't have enough money. But they just switched over what they have offered here. Like, since I last was here. They swap really, really often. And you can get most of the simple weapons there. There are better weapons. There's, like, more exotic weapons later on that you can get access to that are... You know, the blueprints are not going to really be sold at a bar. I even find that, like, the blueprints you can buy at the bar are kind of strange. It's kind of strange that you can buy, like, weapon blueprints at your local watering hole. Alright, I don't know why the dried meat isn't being treated as food. Well, let's see. What other research do we have? I might want to have 2 lockpicks, so I'll max out lockpick. The other types of training, I'm not too worried about. Turrets might be good when we have turrets for our own defense in the base. But until that point, it's really, in my opinion, not that necessary to have the turret trainer, because we don't have turrets on the base yet. But the lockpicks really could legitimately be very helpful. So, what are we waiting on? I'll have King start moving water up top. Cowley is aimless. Yeah, we're waiting for the Farm XL to yield. To really feed a Shek group of this size, you would need like 3 or 4 large wheat farms and, you know, a bunch of high-tech or like high-level wells and things like that, because the food demands are pretty high. With that said, Cowley, why aren't you cooking, dude? There's bread here. Oh, because you don't have Hulled bread store as a requirement. Order of operations there. That's my fault. All right, off to see the hivers one more time. So we're close to leaving off, and Trapper Keeper's here, able to make Mark III weapons as an Armor Smith 61. Chemo should be out of the So Chemo is formally out of the prototype level armor and can make shoddy reliably, which is good. I have no idea where Tora went. Turta's grabbing ore from... Turta's broken. Turta, what? Oh, you're just grabbing food. Okay. Comstar, thanks for the follow. And Beppin, thanks for the follow as well. I missed that. So, Turta, you have... How much plates have you beaten? 6 levels worth of plates. It's not much. But, where's our... Plate beater box? Has 2 plates. Oh, boy. That's pretty miserable. However, plates are worth 500 because of the manual labor that goes into them. Normally, in a fully evolved, fully supplied colony, I tend to have 2 plate beaters and 1 armor smith, with a total of 3 armor smiths, but because of our low population, I'm not really sure if that's a route I'm going to go. It's not really worth starting to make armor until we can make standard, at least. Shoddies are just shoddy. So here we'll have polearm blueprints. Oh god, it's already known? I'm an idiot. Yeah, that's right, I did buy that. Well, I lost some money. Don't ask how. Buy the dried fish, because hungry, hungry, hungry Shek. I'm glad there aren't any beak thing nests between me and the little Hiver village, because that Hiver village, they have a good amount of money and a reliable amount of like research books and food. That's keeping us going. Listen to that sound of production. All right, Trapani. Here's the puppy treats. Missed that in time. And Capgan, thanks for the follow. So, Callie, you don't have anything to do? Yeah. Legitimately, he doesn't have anything to do anymore, but here's 4 dust witches, which is pretty good. Pretty good. Can't complain. Far better than the 0 that we would have had otherwise. We have yet another cat quality sword here, so let's see who needs it. Oren needs it. And soon everyone's going to have Cat 1 Blade, which is allows me to start attacking stronger targets, because we'll be doing a little bit more reliable damage. We may also want to, and this will likely be next stream, just given the time constraints, but want to head down to the southern UC cities and try for additional recruits, because the problem is if we don't sort of finish the job of recruiting, anyone that gets added on from here on out is going to lag behind considerably through stats. They will have terribly low stats of athletics, strength, dex, etc., and always be second fiddle to any of the main crew due to that delay in training, which isn't great. What's the difference of levels of sword quality? The higher the level, the more the damage it does, but also the heavier it becomes. So, really amazingly high quality weapons, oddly enough, are extraordinarily heavy for game balance reasons, or rather, because it's a game. So, to be able to wield the best weapons, you also have to be pretty strong. Or some of the biggest weapons, just to say, not the best weapons, but some of the biggest weapons require a ridiculous amount of strength. The best weapons in the whole world require beyond human strength, even. Or beyond even the best Shek, you need like artificial limbs to be able to use it. So it does get a wee bit absurd. Am I going to strength train next stream? No, definitely not. There's kind of an order of operations, and you should dex before strength, and I could get into the reasons why, but it's easier to train strength or dex when you don't have ridiculous strength, because the problem is if you training dex requires you to hit targets with sharp weapons, and if you have really, really high strength, those targets die, and you need to find new target. Yeah, it just becomes a lot more challenging. Well, we're starting the fabric run. Barely. We have 7 fabrics left over. I'm probably going to hold off sticking them in the beds, though. I don't need more beds just yet. I would love beds for everybody, but right now the operation is just to feed ourselves. And I don't get why these guys are getting food from down there. But one of the things I might be able to do is to... Here, let's turn off ditch. Have Rockvin have food in his backpack so he feeds the people around him, so that my researchers don't have to go running off, or my people in the house building stuff don't have to go running off like crazy every time. Yeah, you just need to sturdier target. It's just a lot easier to do dex first for those reasons. You could always find a stronger target, but at some point, if you do, you know, dex first is just easiest, and then do strength. So we could do some strength training. What I think is going to need to happen is next stream we're going to need the strength just to wear like armor, right? Because if we have white plate jackets and samurai cloth pants and a helmet, where's the helmet? Here's the... oh, well, yeah, we'll get into that. But you're going to want at least the strength to be able to wear that stuff. Because if you don't have the strength to wear that stuff, you'll be encumbered, which is really, really bad. Didn't I get the hood BP? Where is it? That's weird. I learned it, right? The armored hood? I'm pretty sure I did. Well, whatever. It's not my favorite hood anyway. Maybe it's time to upgrade the smithy? What do you mean, the weapon one or the armor one? The armor one doesn't upgrade, and the weapon one would use up fabrics that would be needed for armors. So, I don't think it would be a good idea right now. My 2 cents. It's actually, if you really want to level up dex, you don't want strong weapons. Because if you cut down, again, if you cut down your enemies so quickly, you can't train on them. So I would say probably the best weapon, if you really want to train up your dex, is like just a kind of a halfway decent wakizashi. The short, sort of half-size katanas or two-thirds size katanas that don't do a lot of damage, so that your enemies survive the attacks for many successive attacks. That way you can sort of train up your ability to do dex. Everything requires patience, exactly. In fact, now that let me check. Okay, so Case needs one of the nicer katanas, and I think Sharp Point 2, Tora, so we need 3 more, and then probably Rain will ditch that in lieu of a nicer katana. So 4 more nicer katanas, and Trapper Keeper already has 1 on him, so 3 more other than the ones I've already made. And then at that point, I could even start to get wakizashis as well. And once we have some basic equipment, it's going to be... then it becomes time to start to... Ooh, you punched him out. I watched you get the final blow. Then it's going to be time to start bounty hunting. To start hunting for some of the bandit leaders' Meito weapons and stuff like that, which would be very, very, very cool. That way we're boss hunting. A little bit more meaningful, right? Krev, thanks for the sub. Thanks for the resub. Yeah, I did get the Wakizashi BPs already, for that exact reason. So that if I want to min-max my dex, I don't have to, but if I want to min-max my dex, I have the ability to. Alright, what else can we research? Let's do... God, everything is locked to me. Let's do chart training 2. Well, that is... I went a little bit over time, and that's all the time I have, sadly. I think next stream is likely going to be one where we'll make a lot of armor, whether I have to buy the materials, buy the fabric myself for sourcing it from high villages, or buy the hemp, or call in or trade with farm traders, or whatever it is. We will get the raw resources we need to get this band of misfits outfitted properly, with all the same katanas and all the same armors. Likely our uniform is going to be cloth pants, the samurai cloth pants, the white plate jackets, and still the attack slippers. These wooden sandals, which give you attack speed and combat, or athletic speed and combat speed, because the combat speed is pretty important when you're trying to train up skill. So while we're doing dex training, have the wooden sandals. And I think what I'm going to do is try to punch above the belt and go after some Meito-wielding enemies, like the Cover Your Ears If You Don't Want to Know, Dust Boss, and the Ninja Tower, and Red Saber, and stuff like that. Low-hanging fruit, but still bosses. Thank you for watching Shek's Conquest, which originally streamed live on Twitch October 29th. If you have any feedback for me or questions of any type, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. Thank you so very much to my Twitch subscribers and Patreon patrons for supporting the channel, and I hope you enjoyed this episode and catch the next one or an upcoming stream. Farewell, everybody.